Most people spend their entire lives begging the world for a break. They scan the horizon for a shifting circumstance, a stroke of luck, or a sign that their agonizing effort has finally been enough. They are fools. The cold, hard truth, the truth Niccolò Machiavelli understood better than anyone who ever lived, is that the world does not reward beggars. It yields only to masters. There is a precise, observable moment when a strategist's inner mind has been so thoroughly saturated with relentless intent, so completely fortified by ruthless discipline, that their supremacy is no longer a matter of chance. Leave a comment below with exact declaration of intent, written in your own words, and hit the subscribe button before moving forward. It is already decided. The physical reality is simply still in transit. Most individuals never realize this internal shift is happening. They look outward, waiting for permission to rule. They do not comprehend that the mandate to conquer is never given by the world. It is seized internally. There are 7 distinct, unmistakable signals that this psychological transformation has occurred. I will give you all 7 tonight. But first, we must dissect the 4th signal. Almost everyone misinterprets it entirely. They miss it not because it is subtle, but because they have been conditioned by the weak-willed voices of caution to view it as a moral failure. It is the sign that wears the mask of chaos, betrayal, and absolute recklessness. Yet, in the lives of history's greatest disruptors, it is the single most reliable indicator that the mind has broken its chains and is demanding the old life be burned so the new empire can rise. Let us begin where all power originates. Signal 1. The obsession that refuses to be governed. The first indication that your mind has accepted its sovereign directive is a desire you cannot silence. This is not a casual wish. This is not the weekend daydream an average person entertains between obligations, only to abandon it when the practical demands of reality reassert themselves. I am speaking of a calculation that returns every single morning without invitation. It crowds out competing thoughts. It demands your attention in the middle of casual conversations. It dominates your first waking moments and refuses to be neutralized by a current lack of resources. In conventional circles, this is called impracticality or vanity. In the school of Machiavellian psychology, it is recognized as the supreme baseline of power. Niccolò Machiavelli championed the reality that raw ambition must consume the strategist entirely if they are to reshape reality. The mind does not execute passing whims, it executes dominating obsessions. He who establishes a tyranny and does not kill Brutus, or he who establishes a democratic state and does not kill the sons of Brutus, will only last a brief time. Niccolò Machiavelli understood that half measures invite ruin. A lukewarm wish passes through the psyche without leaving an impression deep enough to compel execution. A burning obsession arrives charged with the psychological voltage required to treat the objective as an absolute command. Consider a young operative who arrived at the laboratory of a legendary innovator. By every visible metric, he had no right to be there. His clothes were threadbare, his pockets empty. He possessed no credentials, no elite connections, and no formal status. He had literally hitchhiked on a cargo train because he could not afford a passenger ticket. When he announced his objective to become a direct business partner to the great inventor, the surrounding staff laughed. It was the natural reaction of ordinary minds confronting an audacity they could not comprehend. But the inventor, a man who had spent a lifetime studying human nature through a deeply pragmatic lens, saw something else. Years later, reflecting on that initial encounter, the master noted, "He stood before me, looking like an ordinary laborer. But there was something in his expression which conveyed the absolute certainty that he was determined to get what he had come after. It wasn't charm or eloquence. It was the visible evidence of an intent so unyielding that it had ceased to be a mere goal. It had become his identity. The inventor recognized this calculated intensity and granted him an entry point. The young man was Edwin C. Barnes. The inventor was Thomas Edison. Barnes did not secure a partnership on day one. He was handed a broom and assigned to sweep the floors, the most menial, invisible position available. He accepted it without hesitation because it gave him strategic proximity to the target. Months passed with zero external validation. To the untrained eye, he was an ordinary clerk, easily ignored. But internally, Barnes was daily and deliberately intensifying his psychological focus. He didn't wait for circumstances to encourage him. He knew that power responds only to concentrated force. When the opportunity finally emerged, it didn't arrive in a glorious package. It appeared disguised as a failed product, a niche mechanical device the rest of the sales force deemed utterly unmarketable. Barnes recognized the opening, seized exclusive rights to deploy it, and executed his strategy so flawlessly that the partnership became an undeniable reality. If you harbor an ambition that will not be pacified by temporary setbacks, by the warnings of well-meaning peers, or by the current absence of material progress, the machinery is already in motion. Stop apologizing for the scale of your ambition. Feed it. Signal 2. The calculated restructuring of perception. The second signal is far more subtle, which is why the naive mistake it for luck. It is the moment your mind begins to perceive strategic pathways, alliances, and structural vulnerabilities where it previously saw nothing but blank walls. The world hasn't changed. The landscape hasn't suddenly become kinder. Rather, your perception has been weaponized. When a definitive objective is anchored in the mind, the intellect unconsciously begins to filter the environment. It discards irrelevant noise and highlights tactical assets. Imagine an agent tasked with recruiting clients for an elite institution. For years, he walked the same city streets, constantly complaining that his territory was barren, that opportunities bypassed him, and that survival was a struggle. A master strategist spent hours reconstructing his perspective. No new assets were given to him. Instead, his attention was aggressively focused through the lens of a clear, unyielding objective. Within minutes of re-examining his daily route, he realized he had been blindly walking past corporate hubs packed with individuals desperately requiring his services. He had ignored them for years because an unorganized mind experiences the world as undifferentiated static. Equipped with a sharp, tactical filter, he targeted those specific hubs, secured immediate engagements, and completely transformed his financial trajectory in a territory he had previously pronounced dead. The resources were always there. Power is always there. The environment is always teeming with leverage. The only question is whether your mind has been instructed to recognize it. This principle is perfectly illustrated by an event in an elite department store. On a bleak, rainy afternoon, an elderly woman wandered in, clearly seeking shelter rather than a commercial transaction. The senior sales staff, judging her by her plain appearance, immediately dismissed her as a waste of time. One sharp young clerk, however, operated on a different frequency. He didn't evaluate her based on superficial metrics. He approached her, engaged her with genuine attentiveness, and when she was ready to depart, he escorted her to the street and opened her umbrella. She requested his card and vanished into the rain. Months later, the head of the firm summoned this clerk. A massive historic contract had arrived to fully furnish a legendary industrial empire's estate. The client was the mother of Andrew Carnegie, and she explicitly mandated that this specific young clerk, and no other, handle the entire operation. The clerk didn't manufacture that opportunity out of thin air. He simply possessed organized perception. He understood that in human grand strategy, no interaction is neutral, and value is frequently cloaked in ordinary garments. When you notice that your surroundings suddenly seem abundant with relevant connections and exploitable leverage, understand that this is not a coincidence. Your mind has adopted a Machiavellian clarity. The filter is working. Signal 3. Navigating reality as an absolute sovereign. The third signal manifests as an internal mandate to conduct yourself as though your ultimate victory is already a historical fact. This is not a theatrical performance meant to impress the crowd. True masters despise empty bravado. For as Niccolò Machiavelli observed, projecting unearned arrogance merely alerts your enemies and accelerates your downfall. Instead, this is the calm, quiet posture of an individual whose subconscious has accepted the objective so fully that the body, the decision-making, and the allocation of time naturally align with that inevitable outcome. The mind converts into reality whatever directive is delivered with absolute conviction. The instructions that carry the most weight are those framed not as a desperate plea for the future, but as an established truth in the present. A legendary financier was observed practicing an invariable ritual. Before authorizing any massive financial maneuver, he would close his eyes for several minutes. He did not do this for dramatic effect. When pressed on the habit, he remarked, "With my eyes closed, I clear away the immediate chaos and access a colder, sharper level of intelligence." He operated with the absolute expectation that tactical clarity would present itself, because his mind had been trained to deliver results upon command. Look back at Barnes in Edison's office. Externally, his title was floor sweeper. He didn't boast to his peers. He didn't engage in pathetic displays of unearned status. But in the theater of his own mind, he was Edison's partner from the very first hour. He moved, observed, and learned through that identity every single day. An individual who knows their positioning is secure does not waste energy on frantic anxiety about whether they will win. They spend their energy on the ruthless preparation their future position demands. They make the calculated choices, build the exact alliances, and form the precise habits required of someone who already holds the crown. Signal 4. The current paradigm becomes completely unbearable. Now we return to the most misunderstood signal of all. The moment your current comfortable reality becomes an absolute, suffocating prison, your internal caution will tell you this profound restlessness is an issue to be suppressed. Society will tell you to be grateful for your safety, to stay small, and to protect your modest comfort. They are training you to be a victim of inertia. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote extensively about the lethal danger of complacency. He knew that the ease which feels like security is actually the first stage of decay. Strength and dominance are forged exclusively through continuous tension, strategic friction, and calculated struggle. I experienced this directly during a phase of my career where I held a position that offered every external advantage an ordinary person could dream of. The revenue was stable. The position was highly secure. My peers respected me, and my inner circle considered me exceptionally fortunate. But the environment had become stagnant. I was operating with far too little effort. I could feel the invisible rust of inertia settling over my faculties. The predictability of the position wasn't a reward, it was an anesthetic. Without warning, without explaining myself to colleagues, or seeking permission from those who preferred me safe, I cut the cord. I resigned. The immediate reaction from my peers was collective horror. They genuinely believed I had lost my mind. By the metrics of the mediocre, they were entirely correct, but it was a calculated execution. My mind was signaling that the current structure could no longer contain the ambition being built inside me. The skin had to be shed. When you consistently feed your mind an aggressive, elevated objective, a psychological restructuring occurs. You literally become a different asset. Your capacity widens. Your vision sharpens. Eventually, your old life, your old associations, and your daily routines simply cannot accommodate the new strategist you have become. The environment fits like a coat you have drastically outgrown. Forcing yourself to stay out of habit or fear won't alleviate the discomfort, it will only poison your potential. There is an even darker hazard here, governed by what can be called the rhythm of permanent drift. The individual who lingers too long in a comfortable position they have mentally outgrown will eventually find their ambition permanently paralyzed. The capacity to strike diminishes. Niccolo Machiavelli noted that a leader must be prepared to burn the ships behind them, because raw necessity is the ultimate catalyst for brilliant execution. If you feel a profound, unnameable alienation from your current safety, do not mistake it for a flaw. It is your mind delivering its most urgent tactical report. The preparation is finished. The old life must be liquidated. Signal 5. The alignment of elite assets, the fifth signal, is exceptionally difficult for skeptics to dismiss. It is the unannounced, highly specific arrival of crucial human assets into your orbit. It is the sudden appearance of the exact strategist who possesses the data you lack. It is the operative who controls the specific connection your blueprint requires, crossing your path in a setting completely unrelated to your primary objective. The mind, when completely organized around a definitive mission, operates like a broadcasting station. It radiates intent through every execution, every calculated conversation, and every subtle impression. Consequently, it attracts minds that harmonize with that specific trajectory. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Niccolo Machiavelli understood that standalone genius is a myth. True power lies in the strategic orchestration of aligned minds. Consider Andrew Carnegie. He did not achieve historic dominance through sheer technical expertise. By his own candid admission, he possessed very little specialized knowledge regarding the physical manufacturing of steel. What he did possess was a masterly understanding of human alignment. He made it his absolute business to know precisely what he wanted, and then he systematically gathered the sharpest minds, the most ruthless organizers, and the finest technicians into a tight, harmonious alliance. When your mind is totally locked onto a target, you stop meeting people at random. You start encountering assets. Pay fanatical attention to these arrivals. Analyze what leverage they bring to your grand strategy. Your mind does not introduce these players on a whim. It presents them precisely when the strategy requires execution. Signal 6. The absolute liquidation of the fear of failure. We arrive at the final, most definitive signal. It is the complete, quiet and unexplained departure of the fear of poverty and defeat. This is not the forced bravado of an insecure person shouting affirmations into a mirror to temporarily drown out their terror. This is a cold, unshakable neutrality. It is the quiet expectation of an operator who knows, with mathematical certainty, that their objective is already structurally secure, and that the physical confirmation is merely a logistical formality. Consider a young visionary operating in the impoverished districts of a major metropolis. For 2 long years, he carried a blueprint to build an innovative, highly practical educational institution. He required a massive influx of capital, $1 million, to execute it. For 24 months, he dreamed about it. He went to bed with a thought and woke up with it. Yet, he made no actual move. He remained trapped in a state of aspirational paralysis because he couldn't see where the capital would come from. The perfectly logical, prudent fear of failure kept him safely contained. Then, on a quiet Saturday afternoon, something shifted fundamentally. He stopped wishing. He made an absolute irrevocable decision. He would secure the $1 million within 7 days, regardless of the mechanism. The moment that decision became absolute, the fear vanished. He described it as an unprecedented sensation of profound assurance. The following morning, operating with an aura of absolute certainty, he delivered a brilliant, unscripted discourse outlining his vision to a prominent assembly. At the conclusion of the event, a leading industrial titan stepped forward from the rear of the room, bypassed the crowd, and stated, "I believe you can execute exactly what you outlined. Come to my office tomorrow morning. I will provide the $1 million." The industrialist was Philip Armour. The institution was built and stood the test of time. The capital wasn't waiting in a random vault. The structural conditions for its arrival were waiting for a mind decisive enough to command them. Niccolo Machiavelli observed that fortune is a river. When it changes course, it sweeps away those who are unprepared and hesitant. But the strategist who has entirely eliminated fear inside their own mind has already altered the topography of their life. Indifference is replaced by aggressive initiative. Overcaution is replaced by calculated execution. And procrastination is permanently destroyed. Do not treat this as a motivational sermon. Treat it as a cold diagnostic audit. Tonight, take a blank sheet of paper. Evaluate your current psychological state with absolute clinical honesty. For every signal you can legitimately identify, note the exact evidence of it in your behavior this past week. For every signal you lack, identify the precise strategic focus you have been neglecting. Niccolo Machiavelli never asked the world for permission, and neither should you. Stop watching the horizon for a lucky break. Execute the internal transformation, recognize the signals, and claim what is yours. Leave a comment below with exact declaration of intent, written in your own words, and hit the subscribe button.